Right, so, as you may or may not know, the new World of Warcraft expansion was released. Well, not released, the trailer was released at BlizzCon on Friday, the 8th of November. Now, this trailer heralded the name Warlords of Draenor. Now, this was a patent that we saw earlier in the year and was basically condemned to speculation entirely and was entirely seen as something different. But most people thought it was the patent The Dark Below, which, to be honest, I wouldn't have been a fan of. I've played World of Warcraft since Burning Crusade, and the prospect of just going underwater for an entire expansion was positively mind-numbing. I would have died. I would have quit the game immediately because that would have just been it. No, go away. The fact they turn around and gone, Warlords of Draenor, is mind-blowing for me. I am so happy. I just want to play the game right now. Oh my god. So I'm gonna play the trailer, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about it afterwards, and then blah blah blah. So, off we go.
It is the lifeblood of this world. We are its children. Soon, its masters. Ours is a legacy of conquest. A rising tide of blood and iron that will wash over this world and all others. Our bond is iron, our will unbreakable. Who will stand against us?
So, that trailer is pretty spectacular and reveals a fair amount of lore. So, we'll start off. Basically, this is the Horde, an older Horde, that was made primarily through steel and war, rather than the Fellblood that we know in traditional lore. And it's basically a combination of all the Orc clans. And they label themselves the Iron Horde. Now, in the trailer, we see a red-blooded orc, red-skinned orc, I should say, not red-blooded, blowing a horn to the riders in the valley. And I think that looks a little bit like Hellscream. So, has he managed to go back in time or something, and basically make another horde like he tried to originally. Just an entire orc horde and take over the entire universe, basically. But the pivotal part of this story is that this massive orc army plans to destroy their planet Draenor, and then move on to Azeroth, and then worlds uncounted will follow. That's a fantastic line, I like that. So you go back in time to the savage home of the orcs and the adopted bastion of the stoic Draenor. So it's a turning point in history that the orcs could have gone the Fel Orc way or their Iron Horde way, which is what we're seeing in this expansion. So this is going to be big. They're going so big, in fact, that they are redoing the graphics on some of the races, and they plan to do it on every single race, all the way up to Draenei and Blood Elves. So you're going to see, in upcoming patches, upgrades for humans, their graphical work, Night Elves, Taurens. Taurens are going to be so happy with, and it's going to be amazing. Okay, they've been talking about doing this for absolutely ages, and it's going to be fantastic. Something I'm fairly interested in is level 90 character upgrade. That's basically like the recruiter friend thing, where you could get a friend up to 80 and then they'll play with you for Cataclysm. They're basically doing that as just like for anything, everything, which I don't really like. That's something they're trying to push forward, is that, yeah, I get it's only one character, but you kind of, it's kind of like a cheat. Like cheat code, infinite level kind of thing. But yeah. But the level cap has been increased to 100, so they've gone back to their old style of expansions. So previously they did Burning Crusade, you went from 60 to 70. The Wrath of the Lich King, you went from 70 to 80. And then in Cataclysm they decided, oh, we're only going to do 5 levels, because then it means we can fit in more expansions. So they did 80 to 85, and then 85 to 90. And now they're doing 90 to 100. So they've gone back on their original word, and they're now going for the massive gaps. Something that's coming in the next expansion also, garrisons. Now, this is essentially, what can I put into context with? Kind of like an RTS. You have your little villagers in your garrison, and you send them off, and they can collect things, and they can work in workshops and stables and farms, and they collect you items. And something I'm also seeing is they can craft you items, loot dungeons, and they do this even if they are offline. You know, if you're offline, they'll carry on doing it. So it's essentially like a kind of EVE Online kind of experience, just with this. So that's pretty cool. It's a nice addition. But yeah, that it's very much a get there first kind of deal, because you won't really be able to catch up otherwise if you joined later. So that's something that they've got to think about. But it does give, one of the things they did reveal is it gives access to other professions that you might not have on that character. So you could have a character like me, which is a skinner, leather worker, but in your little garrison you can have a blacksmith that will build you things. So that's pretty useful, to be honest. Yeah, so I can see many benefits to that. Now this bit, absolutely a fan of. Journey to a mythic time. You get to run around in an era that has Kargarth, Black Hand, Kilrog, Nurzhul, the motherfucking Lich King power mind, Gul'dan, the opener of the Dark Portal, Grommash Hellscream, and Durotan. Velen will be there as well. Khadgar, an absolutely massive part of the lore. And Marad, which I don't really know, but I'm sure he's a very massive part of the lore as well. These huge names in Warcraft lore will be around the whole expansion. I don't know if you have to fight some of the orc clans, but I know that some of them are allied with you, like Duratan, he's allied with the Horde. He's the Frostwolf clan. So yeah, that should be pretty interesting. Now, the world map is something I'm very, very interested in. Essentially, it's Draenor is basically Outland but complete. So you know how Outland is floating in the middle of the Nether, bits are breaking off, floating away, all that kind of stuff. This one, it's sat in an ocean. So you've got the entirety of Outland in an ocean. The Tanaan jungle is Hellfire Peninsula. So all we know about Hellfire has been completely just, nope, it was a jungle. That is amazing. So cool. It is just ridiculous. There is Gorgorond, which is basically Netherstorm, which is like plains. It looks amazing. Nagrand, still the same. It's Nagrand. Everybody loves Nagrand. Spires of Arnak, or Arak, they appear to have not existed in Outland. Not at all, in any way, which is quite cool. That's the bit that fell off that housed all the Akora. Or Arakor. Arakora? I don't know. But, it's pretty cool, I have to say. So that's why they're pretty pissed in Outland, because their homeland fell apart. Shadowmoon Valley, that's still the same. It's not as fell-ridden or demon-covered as it is in the current game, but you know. Zangarmarsh does exist, completely flooded, fantastic. That explains everything. Frostfire Ridge, so Blade's Edge Mountain, was originally frozen. Who knew? I mean, it's flicking Blade's Edge, it's mountains. And Talador, the heart of Draenor, where Shatrath is, and we see Orkandun as a complete city. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, so this expansion is set to be absolutely fantastic. But I can see, rundown, Garrosh escapes his captivity in Pandaria, manages to go back in time by some magical voodoo, rallies the armies of the Horde, various orc clans, makes his own new Horde made entirely out of orcs, and sets his sight forward. However, Blizzard have already revealed that Garrosh Hellscream is not going to be the final boss of the next expansion like it was for this one. So there is a bigger, eviler power at work, which I cannot wait to hear about. But yeah, so this is set to be a really good expansion, and I'm really looking forward to it. If you have any comments, leave them below. Blah blah blah, like the video, share, whatever. I really don't care. Well, I do, but you know.